Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Canada Hoops. It's your boy Matty. Thank you for your continued support. Please keep downloading and sharing us. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Our wonderful guest today is a rising star for Canada basketball. She represents Sudbury, Ontario. She is a current Long Island Lutheran Crusader, and she will begin her freshman season as a Michigan Wolverine next year. And of course, she has already played for and repped the senior women's national team for Canada basketball. Give it up for Syla Swords. Syla, thank you so much for joining us on Canada Hoops.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's exciting, and everyone I think that really follows the program and everything to do with Canada basketball has really enjoyed your rise
Thank you.
so far. It's really cool to see you with the senior women's team already and making an impact. Just how are things? Let our listeners, your friends, family, and the Canada basketball fans and community know how you're doing and just where you're at right now, which is, I'm sure, a busy time for you.
Yeah, I'm doing well, busy as usual. We have our first games in the high school season next weekend, so we've been looking forward to that. Just we've been training since September, so it'll be nice to play against someone other than themselves. And then it was nice, had a quick stunt with the senior team again in Colombia, where we secured a qualifying spot for the Olympic qualifier. So been all over the place, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, I wonder, these opportunities with the senior women's team, especially this last one in Colombia, as you get ready to go into the high school season. Like, how much confidence has that given you as a player when you start to play, perhaps with players your age, just being around the vets of the national team? Like, how much has that prepared you?
Yeah, the vets do a really good job of just making sure I'm comfortable, helping my confidence. They're really good with like recognizing that I'm younger and it's hard for me, but always coming into the high school league and high school season, I try to do my best to be like that for the freshmen on our team and the younger girls on our team. But it's always helps with my confidence after coming from playing against the best players in North America, playing with the best players in North America, to coming into high school league. I think it really helps my confidence for sure.
And so we talked about it really quickly before we hit record, but the Crusaders are the number one ranked high school team in the nation. I think we're probably pretty biased here, but that probably has a lot to do with you and your sister Savannah. But what's obviously as a team, the big goal is probably to just go win everything. But for your year here, as you get ready to uh, play your last season and go to Michigan next year, like what's your goal personally, and then just let us know about the team goals.
Yeah, personally, it's just to continue to get as the best as I can and feel comfortable, feel confident going into a high level university program. And then as a team, we're looking to go undefeated this year, finish off with Nike Tournament of Champions championship in
Okay.
December, and then Geico National Championship as well as where we fell short last year. So that's really what we're looking to do is one step up from where we left off in our junior season.
What's like obviously the whole Swords families down there, and your dad's working with the Brooklyn Nets. What was that conversation and approach like as you and your sister play down there, get acclimated, school life. Like, was it hard? Like, just kind of maybe let us know about that and just family discussions, knowing like this was going to be the next step, and it's clearly helped your game, from an outsider's view.
Yeah. I mean, going into it, a lot of stuff was up in the air for so long, like 1 or 2 months. We still had no idea what was going to happen. I remember I found out that my dad got an interview while my sister was playing at the national championships for Team Ontario.
Okay.
So I wasn't allowed to talk to her about it because, like, I didn't want to distract her with that kind of stuff while she was trying to win a medal for Ontario. Um, and even like a week before school started in the States, we still weren't sure what was going to happen, if we were going to be here or if we were going to be in Canada. And then, yeah, it's alluring just like the talent that is in the US for high school, especially. But we were in a really good place with the prep team in Sudbury and had a great league, great coach, great teammates. So just like the idea of leaving such a great place with such a good support system was why it was so difficult to make that decision.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like my dad's been chasing this dream of playing or of coaching the NBA for so long. So I looked at it like if someone would hold me back from one of my dreams, that's just not fair because they're so supportive of what I do as their child. So we were like, yeah, we're going to move with you because we're a really close family. And then kind of just stumbled upon Luhai by chance. Just like, okay, we'll see what happens. Like, I'll have my sister, so we'll be able to challenge each other in practice at least. But for us to end up being the number one country team in the country less than a year later was kind of ideal. Just jumping into it blindsided, really not knowing the players, not knowing the coaches, but we kind of found ourselves in the best situation to put ourselves in a position of success.
Yeah, it looks you know, like a obviously a great move for everyone, and I think people that follow the program are just super happy for your family. And is there a bit of a maybe an edge for you and Savannah, just knowing like the best team in the nation is being led by two Canadians? Like, is that something that kind of gets talked about a little bit? Just maybe let me know about that.
Yeah, for sure. Just knowing we're representing Canada, no matter where we play, even
Right.
though we're not like physically wearing the maple leaf on our jersey, like we're known as the Canadian guards, the tough, scrappy guards from Canada.
Right.
And then going into the season ranked number one, it's a really tough spot to be just because every team you're going to get their best game. Like my coach has been saying, we're every team's Super Bowl right now, is everyone's looking forward to playing Luhai and to knocking us off. So just going into each game with a mindset knowing that we're going to get everyone else's best so that we have to bring our best too if we want to win.
Right.
So it'll be an interesting season.
Yeah, looking forward to it, and obviously, we're wishing you and the team all the best, and can't wait to see how the season unfolds. And I know I always ask guests, oh, take me back to a younger you, Syla. You're still pretty young, but I know basketball is a family business in a sense, but just how did the game start to take shape for you at a young age? And I'm just wondering, like, was it just a natural gravitation towards it? Just talk about starting to love basketball at a young age.
Yeah, well, we were always in the gym with my dad being a head coach of a university team. My mom was busy, or when she needed a break from us, he'd just take us to his practices. He'd give us, me and my sister, a ball and give us a side hoop, and we just do our own thing for like 2 or 3 hours while he was practicing or scrimmaging with his guys. And even like sometimes we could barely hit the rim with our shots. We were so little, but we never complained about having to be there. We just had so much fun just doing whatever we wanted with the ball and trying to copy what we saw the university guys doing in the moves in their scrimmage. So it was always just fun for us. It was just a thing we did with our family and something we enjoyed doing together. And then I think it also helped that my parents never pressured me into playing basketball.
Right.
Like I don't think I would love it as much at all if my dad was always telling me to go work out or go do this. Even now, he's not going to take us to the gym. He'll only come if we ask him to, hey, can we get a workout in with you? So I think they've done a really good job of making it not seem like we have to do something and not making it seem like a job, but just something that we love to do together.
No, that's cool, and I think that's an important notion that they've recognized. Just this is something that you do love, and they're not pressuring you, or some situations aren't always like that. And I just want to ask really quick about your dad. Obviously, a member of the iconic 2000 Sydney team, which is the last team to play at the Olympics for the senior men's national team. Finally, they'll be there next year. And I that's really for me like where my love of the program started. Late nights watching that tournament, and I love the guys that have been on that team. What are the conversations like with Dad just about his time with the program and playing the game? And I know he's close with Steve Nash. Just talk about those maybe those supper table talks, and just his time with the team, and what he shares the most, and what he's now teaching you about playing the game, especially for the country.
Yeah, he's a very humble guy, so he's not going to go out showing off, telling all his stories, but in the court at Laurentian University where we play. His Olympic jerseys hanging over as soon as you walk in the door. So
Cool.
I've always seen that. Even before I started basketball, I knew I wanted to play in the Olympics. Just hearing his stories of like going to the Olympic Village and seeing different sports being played or the opening ceremonies is just such a cool experience to know you're among one of the best in the world. And then we recently found his Olympic tapes from 2000. He found them. He has them on YouTube now and watched that. That was just fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we bug him. He had a crazy haircut too during the Olympics, had like blonde right down the middle. So we
Right.
talk about that, but just being able to like see that already and see that he did that with basketball and he's gone so far, I think it's really helped me to know that it's possible that I can make money doing what I love and I can play at the highest level just because he's done it and he's been there. So it's been really cool.
Yeah, no question. I mean, it's kind of full circle. We talked about that real quick. Just what you've done with the program at the U19 level, and now getting time with the senior women's team. Just and then your dad obviously playing, and there's been other past players, and now their children are playing, which is really cool, and it's truly full circle. Obviously your dad's a role model in the game. As you start working on your game at the gym in Laurentian, any other players that you do like and you kind of model your game after, perhaps, or someone right now that you're watching trying to really pull pieces of their game to add to yours? Does someone stand out to you?
Yeah, Kia Nurse has always been my favorite Canadian player. I play for AU team, wear her name across my chest in the summertime. Just
Right.
the way she handles the game and like the calmness she brings to the court around like her teammates and just to her coaches. She's just such a fun player to watch. And now I got the chance to play with her. She's really fun to play with, just a really genuinely nice person. So she's been one of my favorite players to watch growing up.
Yeah, well, I see Kia's game in your game, especially kind of off the wing when you put the ball on the floor, and you're a pretty good shooter, much like Bridget. So I'm sure that's cool to see. To be around them and learn from them, and just kind of pattern your game. What we know you're going to Michigan next year. Just talk about that decision and making that commitment. I'm just wondering about schools that offered you. I'm sure you had a lot of offers, and who did you kind of narrow it down to and look at seriously before you decided to be a Wolverine?
Yeah, Michigan did a really good job of just keeping contact and keep building a relationship. They had people watching me play in Hungary when I played the U17 team. They were in Spain, they were in Mexico. So I really felt a good support with them. And I connected well with the coaching staff. Decided to take my official visit in March. And I just really loved like the support that the community had for sports. I got to go into the football stadium and that was just crazy, especially coming from Northern Ontario. Like we have nothing
Right.
like that. There's probably more people that can fit in that stadium than that live in my hometown. Um, and then the girls were all really nice, and then they have a really good vision of what they want to do with the program for success. So I was just on board with everything they had to say. All the other programs I talked to considered Michigan or considered Utah seriously, North Carolina, Duke, Stanford. But I was just really excited about what Michigan wanted to do in the future and how they like saw my game fitting into their program. So I was just really happy to finally sign with them and make a decision to be able to continue the rest of my 4 years career with them.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've had some Canadians there over the years, both on the women's and men's side, so that's cool. And did it matter? Like, were you trying to stay a little close to home too? Like, does that factor in for you and your family as well?
I don't say it would factor in as much just because with my dad's new job in the G League and the NBA, they're moving around so much.
Right.
So I don't know where like home is going to be on any given year. But it's really nice to be close to Sudbury. You know, it's a drive away, so could go spend the weekend if we have it off, see friends and see family. So it's an added bonus for sure.
Yeah. What you like what the team is saying about the goals and the program there. What have your conversations been like with the coaching staff? I know they, like you mentioned, they traveled to watch you play. What have they said to you just in terms of what they anticipate you bring into the team next year and your role within the system? Like, what have those talks been like?
They're just really excited about how I play really hard and how they think I impact the game on different levels. So even if my shot's not going to fall, they trust that I'm going to make the right play. I'm going to impact the game on the defensive end. So they're just really excited for me to step in and make an impact on whatever I'm doing and hopefully pick up the culture level and hopefully bring a lot of hard workers with me.
Yeah, no doubt. And then, like, have you kind of laid out or thought of any personal goals for yourself next year in Michigan? Like, has that been a thought for you yet?
Right now, I'm still focused on the high school season, but this year, definitely making sure I'm prepared going into college basketball. Physically, mentally, I want my confidence to be high. But hopefully, within the next 4 years, we'll win a championship with the Wolverines. So that's definitely a goal.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I know you're gonna have a great career there, and they're lucky to have you. I mean, you know, they had to battle against some good schools like you just mentioned, right? So that's going to be an exciting time for you. And let's get into the Canada basketball stuff, Syla. And here, obviously on Canada Hoops, we love to talk about the program and especially with guests who have played for it, which you have obviously done. You have a rising career, like I've mentioned this far with Canada basketball. You know what you know you're carrying the torch in terms of playing for the program after your dad. What has that meant to you just to be able to play in the red and white with the U19 senior women's some different squads thus far? Like what has that meant to you?
Yeah, any chance I get to put on the Canada jersey, whether it be junior, cadet, or senior level, I do it with pride and I always put my best foot forward when doing it. I just find it such an honor to represent such a great community of people, such a great country. And then obviously carrying on my dad's legacy, the first jersey I wore was number 8, which is what he wore in the Olympics and had swords on the back. So when I first saw that, I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool. And I'm excited to hopefully keep doing this and eventually at the Olympic level, like what he did. So just really full of pride and honored whenever I get to wear the maple leaf.
Yeah, no doubt. And I just like sometimes I'll ask guests, like obviously, there's a lot of pride. You're one of 12, whether it's U19 or senior women's that's playing. Not everybody gets to do that, right? And it's a select group, and you're playing for the nation on the front. But um, you know how much how much pride is there to have the name on the back and represent your family. I'm sure your sister enjoys that and mom too. Like just um, is there many conversation about that in terms of repping the family that way?
Yeah, I think like we've never had a direct conversation, but I think it's a given knowing that I'm going to do my best to represent my family name just because they've put so much time and effort into me, whether it be driving me to practices, putting me in a good situation where we had a tough move, allowing me to go to the national team, traveling alone by myself with the senior team. So whenever like I always represent the name on my bag, no matter what jersey I'm wearing, whether it be Canada, whether it be Lehigh, or when it was Llewellyn.
Right.
Um, just knowing that I'm representing anyone that's put any time into me and developing me as a person, there's a huge pride aspect to it for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. And last summer, or sorry, early this summer with the AmeriCup team, right? Senior women's team, real good tournament. You're there, and then following that, it was the U19 World Cup where you had a tremendous game. We all saw it. Um, you know um, how prepared did you feel for the U19 tournament because of your time with the senior women's team? Like, did you just know you were gonna have a great tournament and just have that great final game?
Yeah, I mean, I was ready, especially after playing against and with the pros. I
Right,
think we had like a month in training camp just within ourselves. So playing against Naira Field, Shea Colley, Kayla Alexander every day, I like kind of knew that I was going to be prepared going into whatever U19 had in store.
right,
But it was mostly just an aspect of connecting with the rest of my team because they had also been training together. And me and Cass Prosper kind of just jumped in like 3 days before the tournament started. So it wasn't as much a concern of what we were going to do on the court. It was more how we were going to figure it out together, just because we had such a short time to get into that group. But yeah, I felt really confident going in just because of what the vets had done for me and how much they had supported me at the senior level.
I want to ask you about that bronze medal finish. You caught fire and finished with 26 points.
Thank you.
You had 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Was there maybe some players like they have a game like that to help a team medal. Was there a feeling pregame you had like you just knew you were going to have a good game? Like just kind of maybe take me through that day in that game and just because you just absolutely lit it up.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a tough morning for sure. We found out our starting point guard, Jazz Bosco, wasn't going to be playing. And then later on at shoot around, we found out Cass Prosper was injured. So
Right.
that's two of our five starters who are out for the game in our bronze medal game against France, who's one of the top 5 teams in the world. So going in, like I knew it was gonna be a dogfight, and I knew it was gonna be a tough game. And then we came in and didn't have a great start. I think we were down 10 within the first 2 minutes, but really, like, we just showed up for each other, the people that did play, and even Cass and Jazz on the bench were really vocal for us. And we were just, I don't even know how we did it, but we just came through for each other. And the last quarter, we ended up being down 10 late in the game and again fought back. So by the time overtime hit, I think like we weren't going home without a medal is what I told my coach even the day before. I was like, I haven't gone through all this to leave home empty handed with nothing for Canada. So I think we knew, like, by the time the buzzer hit, we didn't know how it was going to happen, but we were going to win that game.
Yeah, it was wow. Like I rewatched sort of a highlight clip of you in that game and just absolutely like killed it. And
Thank
it's
you.
cool. Yeah, and then that group that was part of the U19. I look at a lot of the players on that team, so like that's going to be no doubt the core and future of the senior women's team, probably for 20 years with some of the players there. So that's really cool. And yourself and Cass have had time with the senior women's team already, and I just think on the women's side, like wow, the program is in really good hands, and it's cool to see, and you should feel good about that, and hopefully some of the other players listen, and they should feel good as well, just about really representing so well and playing so well, and putting the program in a great spot. I know everyone's got
Mhm.
other careers, like say in university or still in high school for yourself, but for the national team, wow, we're super excited.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm wondering just, the senior women's team for a long time has just been a group of players that have committed, sacrificed. They show up no matter what, even after, maybe a long WNBA season or a season overseas. And, you look at the women that you're playing with right now that are leaving Europe to go spend time with the national team. And many of them have joined us and are friends of ours. What's the discussion like with you as a younger player, just in terms of understanding and knowing and carrying that tradition on to sacrifice and commit and do whatever it takes, because they've long elevated the program on the women's side to really put the program fourth, fifth in the world. Is that something they talk to you about?
Yeah, especially like even before the first game, I remember Naira Fields talked about how much of a privilege it is to be able to wear Canada on your chest and knowing that we're representing something bigger than this team, something bigger than what the country is. It's the ladies that have come before us and have had
Right.
their Olympic runs and have made Canada basketball such an established program. But I definitely ask as many questions as I can. Probably some would say too much, but they're all really good of answering, whether it be about life, pro life, Canada basketball, WNBA. They've all been really good at just sharing their experiences. So I've just been really mindful to make sure that I'm taking that all in, just because they are where I want to be in the next 10 years, the next 5 years. So they've been really good about answering anything I have to ask.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I know the program truly matters to them, right? And it's special. And they care, so they care about the next wave and the next players coming in, right? And that's just been really cool to see. And shout out everybody that's been a part of it, and kind of making the nerds like me enjoy it. And we do really appreciate it. I'm wondering, just your time with the national team so far, whether it's senior women's or U19. You got some teammates that stand out for you that you've grown close with. Obviously, you're getting to play alongside Kia, who
Mhm.
you've long admired. But any other teammates that you've kind of grown close with and then developed a friendship with?
Yeah, in my own age group, I've grown really close with Cass Prosper and Jasmine Bosco.
Right.
Just like we played the same high school league, playing Division 1 basketball eventually. We both, all three of us have like the same goals, similar goals for Canada basketball, similar goals for college, high school. So just get to grow a friendship with them and bond over what we want to do has been really amazing. And then I got to share the court with Natalie Achanwa for the first time this past month. And she's just like such a competitor, such a great leader. So to be able to witness her leadership and her passion for the game like firsthand as a teammate was really cool to see. And just because she's been with the Olympic team for so long too, I think she's going to be going on her fourth Olympics. So just being able to share the court with someone who's so confident in themselves and puts so much confidence in the people around them, it was really amazing.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, and you mentioned that, like, truly one of the goats for the program on the women's side. Is that You mentioned the Olympics, and I kind of wanted to ask you about this. Like, is that something you've thought about next summer? Like, that could be a real possibility. Like, I'm sure Victor's going to bring in a lot of players, probably to camp, maybe narrow some things down. But um, is that something you're kind of thinking about for next summer? Like, you could possibly be an Olympian, Syla.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm trying not to think too far ahead, especially with my high school season coming up, but that would be a really cool experience. Like, obviously, I'll be waiting for that call. And if I do get that call, I'll be really excited, but always grateful for the opportunities I have been given
Right.
and cognizant that I'm still young. So even if I don't get it now, like I have a lot of time to work towards that, but that would be a really cool experience.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be that would be special, right? I mean, I just think you're on the right path, and we'll have to see what next summer brings for the program and who's available and players and what you have going on. You'll be ready to start your season at Michigan and whatnot. So, you gotta get through the year and see what that looks like. You've traveled to some really cool places with the program. Favorite stop so far? When you've
Spain
been with
was
the
really pretty. We got to go downtown and like a square. It was really nice. So Spain.
Nice, nice. Oh, do you have a top five or favorite five of all time for Canada basketball, Silo?
Yes, Kia Nurse for sure.
Right.
Steve Nash,
Nice.
Natalie Achanwa, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Even though he's still young, he did like some great things for the Canada team this past year. And then Lou Dort is like locked down on defense. So
Love it. Love it. What a great mix. And obviously, Steve is, that's kind of my guy. And you think he's probably in everybody's top five. And I've kind of, I've settled, like, I've had four for a long time.
okay.
And that was like Steve, and from my era, like a big Carl English fan, and he was our very first guest. And Corey Joseph done a lot for the program, and Kelly Olynyk, obviously, as well, just a vet guy. And then, wow, yeah, this past summer at the World Cup, I think Shea has kind of jumped into my five there. But there's so many, it's hard. Like, and I like that you got a mix of the old and the new. And obviously, on the women's side, Kia has been big time for a long time. Sila, anyone you'd like to see join us on Canada Hoop sometime? Who's got a good Canada basketball story that should jump on with us?
Cass Prosper, I think would be. She's got some good stories to tell. She's been with the national team for a long time. Started with U16, so I'm
Right.
sure she'd have a lot of good stories to tell.
Yeah, let's maybe you can help us line that up, and we'll get Cass on. Sila, any shout outs or thank yous before I get you out of here? And again, it's been a blast, and truly appreciate you joining us on Canada Hoops.
Yeah, I want to thank my high school coach in Sudbury for just supporting me for so long, Jen Bourgette, and allowing me to stay home to play basketball and at a high level for as long as I did.
Awesome. I love it. That's a wrap on another episode of Canada Hoops. I want to thank the young star, Syla Swords, for pulling up. Thank you for listening. Remember to rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts. Keep supporting Canada basketball and our Canadian Hoopers, and we will see you on the next episode.